Okay, so we're going to pick back up where we left off, which was on Nathan. So let's go ahead and open yours up. Another big Blade Blast. Let's see if it'll play it. Not very well. Well, it's playing alright. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull this one over. Really blurry on this one. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on. It does look like you get some steam going on in there, and that's cool. Looks like you have a couple of emitters, maybe, so you gotta watch out for that. A little bit more interesting animation on the box might help. But it looks like the serial's working pretty well. Let's see what you get with your images. Yeah, so these are looking nice. I think just getting a final version of this render is really going to help out. It also looks like you got something going on inside the box on that texture. May work with that a little bit. It looks like it's on fire in there or something. But overall, it's looking pretty good. I wonder what this is. I'm nervous. Okay. So, Michael. Goodness. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let this one copy down as well, and because it's like 1.5 gigs as well. And while it's doing that, I will go to William. Oh goodness, like that one's okay. So Michael and William will come back to you after Michael's is done downloading. I'll breakfast good render. Okay. Oh yeah, I remember this one. So, a couple of little things. Seeing. I think this may be the Play Blast downloading. Yeah, so a couple of little things I'm seeing. Your steam's a little dense, but like looking pretty cool in the way it like is wispy there. You're also getting some grain in there, so that's probably that thing I showed in one of those previous videos of adjusting your samples, right? The other video is almost done downloading, so that'll speed this up. So I think that would help to like maybe turn down the opacity a little bit. You also see these little blocky things that are happening at the top. That's the resolution, like where you can crank that up to like, it's probably by default set to like 20 or something like that. If you change that to a higher number, you'll get more voxels in there. Your bacon's looking a little stiff and a little thick. It looks kind of like those bacon treats for dogs. So maybe thin that out, maybe mess it up just a little bit more. But I like the cereal. I think the cereal's looking good, and that's an awesome model of the spoon. Like you did a really good job on the spoon, the box, and all the environment pieces here. So yeah, nice work. Okay, just so I can go back, and I'll go ahead and, so William, yours is pretty big too. Let's go and pull it down as well. So while that's happening, I will play Blast 7. Oh yeah, this one. So again, like you don't have to play Blast or render all of the serial filling up. I think the models look really cool on this. I like the chair. I like the pancakes, and I agree, like getting a little bit of like deformation on those as they fall would be nice. The plate feels a little not like a plate. It feels more like a disc, right? Like you're eating off of a stone slab or something like that. So maybe play around with that a little bit. Yeah, but I like how the cereal's pouring out. You got some nice stuff going on there. A little bit of camera motion would be nice, so we can see down there in it. But yeah, that's looking cool. The biggest thing is just getting a render of this, because that's a whole gradable area of that. William, yours down. So yours is pretty close. It's about 79%. So we'll look at yours in just a second here. Well, may as well just wait on it. And then the next one we'll be going to, so we already did Tanner, so we're going to Noah next. We'll kind of skip ahead and see if I had to take Cat 2 Vet during class and. Okay. So Alex will be the next one we go to. Play Blast.
Wrangling a horse in there, knocking stuff around, rearranging.
So I definitely think this needs some timing work. It's also like right now we're coming in at about 18 seconds, so like this render is going to take forever. Just scaling some of this motion in, I think, would help. Like it all feels like it's kind of moving in slow motion. Also, doesn't seem to have any textures on it or any steam. So the banana looks like kind of a nice model, but we're seeing it from an odd angle, so it's kind of hard to tell. So kind of do one last pass on that, and that was William, I think. Yeah. So so on to Alex. I don't know which one to click on. Let's try them all. Oh, okay, so this is your Play Blast. I remember you showing that. Let's see if this is the render. This is the render. I like it. Alex, this turned out great. This is really cool. Very subtle, small things to change. One be it looks like there's a chance that box goes through that glass. I can't totally tell, but that's what it looks like when it comes around. I think you could also sort of smooth out that that bowl or that plate, and maybe make sure that cup is on the ground. So right there, yeah, it kind of bashes through the glass. So maybe just scooting the glass over a little bit. It feels like this coffee cup is sort of setting off the ground. It maybe isn't, but it just kind of feels that way. I love the cereal. I love the texture. I love the snow globe and the little bitty snows in there. And that can count as the other animated object that you said brought to life. So that sounds great. Awesome. Yeah, just great work. This looks really good. All right. So Robert. Rice Krispies. So there we go. Oh yeah, mystery milk. I do not know what that is. That is so weird. Let me watch it again. So my thinking is that it has this reflection or a shadow or a particle or something that is flattened out on the ground. But dude, that looks weird. All the rest of this is actually looking really good. That apple's a little flat. And we're kind of floating out in the middle of nothing. That's a little weird. I also noticed like this may be sugar you're going for, but it's like, kind of got a rounded top. But otherwise, this is looking pretty cool. That spoon's a little big. So kind of playing around with scale. I'm not really seeing the steam that much over here. It seems like I'm more seeing it over here on this side. Is that what this is here? The steam is kind of coming out of this object. Yeah, I can't really see where the steam is at. Oh, and I think your table's sliding. Like if you look at your table, like it's sort of like sliding across a little bit there. So a couple of little things. Overall, looking pretty good. Just need some tweaks on a few things and figuring out what's going on with that milk. I think it would be better to not have that because it just looks so strange. But I think you got a lot of good stuff going on there. So, Aaron, let's see. Breakfast image. All right. Got an image. So, like this is like a lot of good stuff going on here. It would be a shame to not finish this up and get an actual grade for this because this is probably less than 10% of the gradable elements for this. Like there's nothing moving, there's no textures on the box, and so like just keep that in mind. Like it is great to have that placeholder, but it's not going to you can't have that be the final piece you turn in and actually still get through the class. So Jack, ooh. Yeah, this is the one that I kind of played back a little weird in class, and I hated that because this looks great. The background's a little confusing. I think I would, if you look at one of those older videos I had, I talked about it here where we can select this camera, turn the visibility up and down. I think yours would almost be better served to do that, and then just have this sort of standing on its own. You would still get the same rendering. Some of this noise that you're getting in here, I love this. Coffee is, I want that cup. Some of this noise you're getting in here is probably coming from the this specular channel here. If you just crank that up to like 3 or 4, I think you can get some of that out of there. That would be my guess. Otherwise, this is looking great. The spoon's kind of sliding a little bit if you're wanting to feel like it crawls. Maybe just have it not go quite so far on each lunge forward. And the donut's looking neat. I like this. Like, you didn't just change the texture, you actually put a different object on there. So yeah, great work on this. This looks really good. Pop culture pops. That's funny. Yeah. Caden Robbins. Open this one. Okay. So you got the box moving, but there's none of the serial simulation, no textures, no lighting and rendering. So like the one piece of serial, like that would be keyframing it. Even if you're just going to simulate a few pieces of serial, that's all right with me too, to show that it's that the box is empty, but it needs something in there to actually get the simulation. And there's no steam in it either, so those two things are going to kind of be big hits on the grading part of this. So, in breakfast. Oh yeah. So this one's interesting. I have a feeling you were doing this part at the beginning to get to give the cereal box enough time to fill up. But I think it actually looks kind of neat. I think playing around with your materials a little bit to get some of that shine off of there. The cereal pouring out looks pretty good. A couple of them seem like they were going through the bowl for some reason. I would probably pull down some of the gloss on the donuts and the cereal box, like it's very reflective. And that's usually going to be your specular map if you're using the AI standard surface. So just pulling down your specular weight should fix that. The lighting looks pretty good and the simulation looks good. I'm not really sure I saw any evidence of steam in here. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any of the steam. So it definitely needs that part too. And finally, Caleb. Oh yeah, I remember this guy. That's cool. I like that. I don't necessarily know why. It feels like they're floating on the table. It doesn't feel like they're like getting that same shadow that the other objects are getting. And I wish, like, that's the only thing I can really say. That and like, maybe re-render later without the watermark. I'm not going to count off for the watermark, but it would, I think, definitely make it a stronger piece. All of this is looking really pretty good. The Captain Crunch, the cereal pouring out, the square spoon. I'm not really. I feel like that just needs more modeling work. All the other stuff is looking pretty good, so like, messing with that a little bit I think would definitely help. It also doesn't feel like it would fit in the bowl. It's got that my spoon is too big thing going on. So yeah, I think playing with that. I like you're using a mirror back here. This whole background looks kind of neat. It's a nice little setup for this corner. So I think sort of fixing those last few things. Your steam is kind of faint, but we can see it there. And so I think, again, if you could make it a little wispier, that would be cool too. But see if your table is probably got a scale to its collision as well. Like when we can click that drop down box to change the thickness of the collision. And it seems like the thickness is kind of higher than the actual table, so maybe making that smaller so those last two pieces kind of make it all the way down to the table. So otherwise, this looks pretty good. Nice. All right, so like I did in the last one, I wanted to show you all sort of the grading scale for this one. So again, models, lighting, 20 points each. if you don't have all of the models, I think there was a 7 model minimum, we'll count off there. Lighting and rendering, the biggest hit here is so many people turning in play blasts. Like, a play blast is not lit or rendered, so that is a 0, right? Again, I don't know who had that. Like, serial, if you have the serial simulated and it's looking okay, like that's what I'm going for there. The coffee, this is if you have like the steam coming out of the coffee. So a lot of you just kind of seem to skip the steam part. That would just be a 0, right? Overall presentation, this is me looking at how does the whole thing read. Right? So some of that's animation, some of that's, the way the whole aesthetic reads. Like if you showed me this from way, way, way too far away and I can't really see it, then that's a hit. And so this has a total of 105 possible points because I gave you a 5-point bonus if you brought something to life. And that's just it's a yes or a no. If something else is moving in the scene other than those things I asked you to move, then it's an extra 5 points. So I'm kind of just giving you a little bonus in there to tack on something. So this is the sheet that you'll be getting when I send it to you. And of course, I have a little section for notes here, but that's one of the reasons I'm recording the videos, so we can kind of use that instead of the notes. All right. Sorry I had to break this one up into 2 videos. I'm going to go ahead and stop it now. I will say there's some really good pieces in here. Some of them are going to get great grades. The ones that, even if you do have a good grade, I would still encourage you to consider, do you want to revise it to make it even better, right? I promise you'll get something in terms of how you grow in doing that. So any of those little notes, like if you find yourself, if you have a couple of extra hours of free time, tinker around on those and update them, even if your grade is pretty good. For those of you who turned in incomplete stuff, you definitely need to revise that. Again, if that's not the right folder. If your name is not here right now, the grade is a 0, and that's not revisable. So you have to turn it in the first time to revise it. That is the RE in revise, right? Just giving you a heads up on that. And this is an important part of that. So overall, though, I'm really happy with the work. I'm looking forward to seeing what you all get on the final, what you all turn in there. So keep up the good work and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.